other sons named Asimita, Oshu, Soma, Chaturmashra, and the 5 Mahayagras.
So Savita and Prishni is mentioned the fifth of the sons of Anumanti. So that description is mentioned.
Okay, Shidri, who was the wife of Bhava, the sixth son of Aditi. All 3 sons, named Mahiha, Vibhu, and Prabhu, and one extremely beautiful daughter whose name was Koshi.
So basically it's descriptive about the various sons. So it's Bhaga and Siddhi getting married and having sons. That is described next.
Firstly, Dhata, the 7th son of Aditi, had 4 wives named Kuhu, Shimibali, Raka, and Anumati. These wives begot 4 sons named Sayam, Darsha, Prabhata, Katha, and Purnamasha, respectively. The wives of Vibhaha, the 8th son of Aditi, was named Kriya. In her, Vidata begot the 5 fire gods named Purisha. The wife of Varuna, the 9th son of Aditi, was named Darshani. Brigu, the son of Brahma, took part again in her war.
So here Dhata had 4 wives, Kuhu, Shimvali, Raka and Anumati, and 4 sons mentioned. Next.
By the semen of Varuna, the great mystic Valmiki took part from an N3. Brigu and Valmiki were specific sons of Varuna, whereas Agastya and Vasishtha Rishi were the common sons of Varuna and Mitra, the 10th son of Aditi.
So this is the Varuna is mentioned. So Varuna had 2 sons. They are known as Brigu and Valmiki, specific sons, and also Agastya and Vasishtha as the common sons, which is mentioned. Why they are common sons? That is mentioned in the next verse.
Upon seeing Urvashi, the celestials finally brought both Mitra and Varuna discharged semen, which they preserved in an earthen pot. The 2 sons, Agastya and Vasishtha, later appeared from that pot, and they were therefore the common sons of Mitra and Varuna. Mitra begot 3 sons in the womb of his wife, whose name was Revati. Their sons were Utsarga, Arista, and Vipal.
Okay, so Mitra and Revati, they are marrying and they are having children. That's mentioned. Next.
O King Parikshit, Indra, the king of the heavenly planets and 11th son of Aditi, begot 3 sons named Jayanta, Rishabha, Vidusha, in the womb of his wife Paulavi. Thus we have heard.
Thus we have heard. Like that. So that's mentioned. 3 more sons, Jayanta, Rishabha and Vidusha. So you know Jayanta, have you heard Jayanta before? Who is he?
International Lord.
Huh? Hindi? One incarnation of the Lord. Anything else? Jayanta he was one of the carriers also, no? Okay, next.
By his own potencies, the supreme personality Godhead, who has multifarious potencies, appeared in the form of a god as Guru Krama, the 12th son of Aditi. In the womb of his wife, whose name was Kirti, he begot 1 son named Vyasuga, who had many sons headed by Shobha.
So it's mentioned Guru Kramasya Devasya Maya. So by his own potency, Maya Vamana Riguna, Lord appeared as Vamandev. So that is described, and then how he had various sons in his wife Kirti. So Prabhupada is explaining in the purport how Lord is independent. He doesn't need support of others. Through his energies, he can do various actions.
From the home of Aditi.
So the pastimes and the activities of Vamandev will be described later on. So that is being mentioned. So even though his lineage name is coming here, but it will be described in one. That's mentioned. Then
Now let
after describing the sons of Aditi, now from 10 to 19, description of sons of Diti are mentioned. So there are various wives of Kashyap Munina. So then Aditi are the other Adityas, the demigods. Diti are the Daityas. So their description is mentioned from 10 to 19. Yes.
Now let me describe the sons of Diti, who were begotten by Kashyapa, but who became demons. In the demoniac family, the great devotee Prahlad Maharaj appeared, and the Bali Maharaj also appeared in that family. The demons are technically known as Daityas because they proceeded from the womb of Diti.
So here, first verse itself, Shukri Goswami is telling, Atha Kashyapa Dayada Daityan Kritayami Te Jatra Bhagavata Shriman Prahlada Baladevacha. So even though they are Daityas, demons, but there are great devotees in the family of Daityas like Prahlad and Bali. So even one may have a background of demoniac nature, but if he cultivates the right consciousness, then he can become a great devotee also. So both Prahlad and Bali, even though being born in a demoniac family or demons family, but they were great devotees. Next.
First, the two sons named Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha took birth from Diti's home. Both of them were very powerful and were worshipped by the Daityas and Danavas.
Okay, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, two sons of Diti first.
The wife of Hiranyakashipu was known as Kayadu. She was the daughter of Jambu and a descendant of Donu. She gave birth to 4 consecutive sons known as Shamhada, Anula, La, and Lad. The sisters of these 4 sons was known as Shimnika. She married the demon named Viprachit and gave birth to another demon named Rahu.
Okay, so the 4 sons and 1 daughter of Hiranyakashipu with Kayadu are mentioned. Next.
While Rahu in disguise was drinking nectar among the demigods, the supreme personality of Godhead severed his head. The wife of Shamlat was named Kirti. By union with Shamlat, Kirti gave birth to a son named Panchajana.
Panchajana, Samlal and Kirti is the they gave birth to. Next.
The wife of Lada was named Damini. She gave birth to 2 sons named Vatapi and Ilvala. When Agasthamuni became Ilvala's guest, Ilvala served him a feast by cooking Vitapi, who was in the shape of a ram.
You know now the story of Vatapi and Ilvala? Don't know? Your life is waste. This drama was done actually in one of our. The story was told by Radha Gopinath Prabhu. I think when we were in Melkote Yatra or I think Melkote Yatra. So then he told, and then the devotees performed this drama. So I think, if I remember correctly, Radha Gopinath Prabhu himself was a testimony. So then these 2 brothers are there, Vatapi and Ilvala, and how they will kill, very unique style of killing. So they will, one of them, like it's mentioned that how they will feed one of them to the person. So here it's mentioned that Vatapi was served. Vatapi ko maar denge and they will serve him. And the person will eat him and then Ilvala will tell, come out Vatapi. So he will burst open from the stomach of the person and come out. And that's how he will kill the person. So they tried the same technique with Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni ko they served Vatapi. And Ilvala said, Vatapi, come out. So Agastya said, Jeerna. I have digested. So like that is the story of our Vakati and Ilval, how they were so notorious in killing various sadhus and things like that. But Agastya Muni, huh? How they serve flesh to a rishi. That's, I was assuming that would be the question which would come. So, how can a rishi take flesh? Yeah, I don't know. Anyone has any comments on that?
Even it was mentioned in the shape of the lamb.
Yeah,
So
shape of a lamp.
medicine.
Okay, next.
Nulla was named Surya. She gave birth to two sons named Bashkal and Vish. Prahlad had one son, Virochana, who gave birth to Bali Maharaj.
Okay, so Anurag was named Surya, the wife of Anurag is Surya, and they gave two sons, Bhaskara and Manish. Next.
Thereafter, Bali Maharaj begot 100 sons in the home of Ashana. Of the 100 sons, King Venu was the eldest. The activities of Bali Maharaj, which are very laudable, will be described later in the 8th canto.
So Prahlad gave birth to Virochana, and Virochana gave birth to Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj gave birth to 100 sons, of whom Banasur, if you have heard Banasur, this pastime comes also, that Banasur, he was a great devotee of Lord Shiva, it's mentioned in next verse. Read.
Since King Bana was a great worshipper of Lord Shiva, he became one of the Lord Shiva's most celebrated associates. Even now, Lord Shiva protects King Bana's capital and always stands beside him.
You know how did Banasur serve Lord Shiva? Yeah, he was having many hands. And what did he do?
Playing rhythm.
He would play various instruments. When Shivji would do Tandav, Nitya, so he will accompany by playing musical instruments, and that will give so much pleasure to Lord Shiva. So that's how he served. And therefore it's mentioned that Lord Shiva protects his capital and always stands beside him. This pastime comes where? In 10th canto it comes. How Banasur faces Lord Krishna and things like that. Okay, next.
The 49 more demigods were also born from the womb of Diti. None of them had sons. Although they were born of Diti, King Indra gave them a position as demigods.
So if you see, Diti had only two, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, and the other is our Maruts, who had no sons. So that is being described in this chapter. And how Maruts they became the kind of, rather than helping the Asuras, they became Upadevtas in the Indra's assembly. So Prabhupada says in the purport, apparently even demons can be elevated to position as demigods when their atheistic character is reformed. So Prabhupada is saying there are two kinds of people, demons and demigods. So in this world, one important lesson is everyone has hope in this world as long as one is willing to transform himself. If one is willing to transform, whatever may be one's current status, when it is willing to transform, there is hope. So what is Lord looking at is whether we are willing to transform or not, uplift ourselves or not. That's what is most important. So in life also, as we hear in the 11th canto we'll see in Uddhav Geet section that even though we may slip sometimes or we may fall from the path of devotional service, the perfect path of devotional service, but if we are determined to rise up, then it is we can continue devotional service. So that is important aspect. And so important is we have to have instill hope. And the biggest service which a Vaishnava can do is to instill hope and the society at large. That's the service of a Vaishnava, instill hope. So if we can instill hope by our character, our life, then others also will feel hope. That is there. Now from 20th verse, Parishit Maharaj asked questions about the Maruts. So that now it like the whole thing shifts to this whole episode of who are the Maruts, how come they became associates of Indra. Next.
King Parishit inquired, My dear Lord, you proved their part, the 49 mortals must have been obsessed with the demoniac mentality. Why did Indra, the king of heaven, convert them into demigods? Did they perform any rituals or pious activities?
Because they are born from Diti, they must be demoniac in nature. So what led them to be accepted by Indra? And also did they perform any pious activities, rituals, etc.? Next.
My dear Brahmana, I and all the sages present with me are eager to know about this. Therefore, O great soul, kindly explain to us the reason.
So here again, Parikshit Maharaj is saying, Imesh Tatta Dhate Brahman Rishyo hi Maya Saha Parighyana Bhagavatam Stanno Vyakhyatum Arhasi. So Vyakhyatam, please explain to us. And we are Shraddha Dhate. So we are eager, we have faith in you. So more we instill faith in Guru or Vaishnava, the more they will reveal the inner details. So our attitude in spiritual life should be of instilling faith, instilling eagerness to know more. And the more we instill faith and eagerness, the more Guru will reveal it to us. Like when Srila Prabhupada as Abhay Sharan De Babu, he was about to get, like the devotees tell Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that he should initiate. So what does Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tells? That?
Yes, sir. He likes to hear.
Yeah, I have observed him, he likes to hear. And what was one of the instances where Prabhupada heard Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? Yeah, in Vrindavan, they was told that there are two choices, whether you go on parikrama or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati will give a lecture. Most of the devotees went for the parikrama, but Abhay or Srila Prabhupada stayed back and he heard. And Srila Prabhupada tells that actually Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would use such heavy English in his discourses, most of the things you will not understand. Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would use colonial English. Even if you read his articles, some Sibjun Toshini articles, very difficult to comprehend, many of them. The words he uses, the way he composes the sentences, not so easy, it's not so easy to comprehend the meaning and things like that. So Prabhupada tells that I would not actually understand many of the times what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say, many of the things. But I would just love to hear him speak. So that eagerness and instilling faith in the words of Guru will actually help reveal the. So it's not about mere academic academics that I understand what the Guru is saying. It's more about instilling faith on the words, instructions, etc. So that's important. So here Parikshit Maharaj is also saying that I am eager and I am putting as a humble request that please tell me. We are eager to know. So this is essential. Eagerness and humble request. Okay, next.
So Shukdev Goswami said, just to help Indra, Lord Vishnu killed the two brothers Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakashipu. Because of their being killed, their mother Diti, overwhelmed with lamentation and anger, contemplated as follows.
कौन सा वर्ष की है अभी? उससे पहले काफी बड़ी
22.
we missed one verse 22 we missed.
So Shukdev Goswami said, O great sage Shanaka, after hearing Maharaj Parikshit speak respectfully and briefly on topics essential to hear, Shukdev Goswami, who was well aware of everything, praised his endeavor with great pleasure and delight.
So here, because Shukdev Goswami is relating the exchange between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami, so here Shukdev Goswami is speaking. Tad Vishnu Ratascha Badarayane. Vishnu Rat, who is Vishnu Rat? Parikshit. Tad Vishnu Ratascha Badarayane. Badarayane is Shukdev Goswami. Vacho Nishamya Drita Alpam Artha. So it's mentioned his vacha, his vani, nisham yadartam alpam artha. So it's very adritam, very respectful, alpam, very brief. It's just very in 2 verses, and arthavat, very meaningful. So it was alpam, very brief, but full of meaning. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 1.106, what is mentioned, Prabhupada says, truth spoken concisely is truly eloquence. Eloquence means truth spoken concisely. So here also is mentioned, alpam. So words are spoken less, but they are full of meaning. So that is the art of the more. Like sometimes we are told to explain certain subject matter. And if we use too many things, we keep on speaking, that means we ourselves have not understood the subject matter. And if we can explain a subject matter concisely, means in lesser words you can explain the subject matter, that means you have understood more deeply. Because in few words you can explain the same subject matter. So truth spoken concisely is true eloquence. So that's what here Shukdev Goswami is praising the speech of with many meanings, arthavat. Sabhajen san nibritena chetasa. So then he was very praised his endeavor with great pleasure, Shukdev Goswami also. And then so he is mentioned as Sarva Darshana. Sarva Darshana means who is aware, well aware of everything. Sarva Darshana. Prabhupada writes, Srila Vishnacharya Thakur stresses that even though Diti was very envious, her heart was purified because of her devotional attitude. So that is the beauty or the purity of devotional service. It can purify an impurest of heart. And then Prabhupada says another significant topic is that although Kashyap Muni was a learned scholar and was advanced in spiritual consciousness, he nonetheless fell a victim to the inducement of his beautiful wife. So these are the 2 aspects we will see in this whole episode. That how Kashyap Muni very elevated sage, but still he fell victim or got induced by his wife Diti to do something which is detrimental. And also the glory of devotional service. That one who has contaminated heart, even if he or she practices, he can be purified, he or she can be purified. So that is mentioned. So, therefore, if you see the nature of devotees or devotional service is somehow or other, if one, in this case, Diti's case, Kashyap Muni did not tell you perform devotional service. He said, oh, you want this boon, so you perform devotional service. He gave a whole list of vrata which she used to do, and but that was in a disguised form. So that's how devotees very cleverly engage people in devotional service. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama dhari. So whatever may be the inclination of a person, somehow if he or she is engaged in devotional service, he will get purified. So that is the mood in which it is done. So from 23rd, then Shukdev Goswami starts answering. Yes.
23rd. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, just to help Indra, Lord Vishnu killed the two brothers, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Because of their being killed, their mother Diti, overwhelmed with lamentation and anger, contemplated as follows.
So after Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu is killed, Diti is very overwhelmed, mother is overwhelmed by the killing of sons. So she is contemplating. From 24 to 26 is the contemplation of Diti. Next.
Lord Indra, who is very much fond of sense gratification, has killed the two brothers Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu by means of Lord Vishnu. Therefore Indra is cruel, hard-hearted and sinful. When will I, having killed him, rest with a pacified mind?
Diti is thinking, Arey, my innocent children, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, and this Indriya Arama Pulvanam. He is very fond of sense gratification. Indra. Pulvanam. And he is very cruel. Aklina Hridayam is hard hearted. Aklina Hridayam. And Papam is full of sin. Abhi, who is full of sin? Hiranyakashipu or Indra? So that is the nature of material attachment. Material attachment degrades a person. He thinks that I am or my party is right and the other party is wrong. So Diti is perfect example of seeing fault in others and overlooking same fault in oneself. She is not seeing that same fault is with her of being Ulvanam, Aklina Hridayam, Papam, herself or her party, her children. So Daksha also found fault with Lord Shiva due to his false prestige. Daksha was also blaming, oh, he is so full of pride, he is not getting up. Even though Daksha himself was full of pride. So therefore Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say that when we see fault in others, that shows that we are honeycombed with faults. So what we see in others is actually a reflection of our own heart, which we are seeing in others. So one should be very careful. So material attachment will degrade a person. Only solution is one need constant touch of sadhus and hear Krishna Katha in their association. Then only one can overcome that. So this is a classic example of the kind of thought process we generally see the other party with. Oh, he is having this fault, she is having this fault, etc., etc. Not realizing or not looking in my own heart that I am actually having the same fault. Generally, when we point finger at others, this is called pointing fingers. The other three fingers are
me
pointing to myself. So that is the nature of this world. And the other day, I was telling this to in one school, and she gave me another. That one of the students, she told me, see this is pointing up. You know where this is pointing up? Like this we do. So I did not know this one. She was telling me. This pointing out means we also blame God. So we point finger at others. Three are at ourselves and one is at God on top. So I thought that is interesting. We blame God also for that. So that is the nature of envy or dirty heart. Okay, text number 25. कृमि विद भस्म संज्ञा से यस्य यस्येषाभिहितस्य च भूतदृक्तकृते स्वार्थम् किं वेद निरयो यतः.
When dead, the bodies of all the rulers, known as kings and great leaders, will be transformed into bones, stool, or ashes. If one unwisely kills others for the protection of such a body, does he actually know the true purpose of life? Certainly he does not. For if one is envious of others' entities, he surely goes to hell.
So when person dies, the body of Isha Abhihitasya, the rulers of all the rulers, will be transformed into worms and transformed into stool and it will transform into ashes. You know how the body gets transformed into worms? So generally when we bury body, so it will rot and will get transformed into worms. How it gets transformed into stool? So if you have, do you know there is one religion called Parsi religion? You know what they do of the dead body? Yeah, they leave the body. Their philosophy is that body can be, why not give it for some good cause, vultures can eat. So they leave the body on top of a well or something and vultures will come and eat that body. You can just imagine what it will feel. And then it will transform into stool because we have eaten the body and it will get transformed into stool. Near Radha Gopinath Mandir, there is a Parsi crematorium. And I visited there. But they don't allow you to go and see all this. But that's how they. If you, that's why I remember the Radha Gopinath temple. If you see, there are a lot of vultures. So they are that. It's just next to the when we go to that, what is that? Pedder Road में, when you go on top ना, वहाँ पे many Parsi stay there.
Parsi means it is another religion.
Yeah, it is. They worship basically fire god kind of thing. They have. Brahmanic philosophy.
They also wear Muslim like cap, but their cap is.
They put like that, but उनका अलग ही. Yeah, I'm Parsi. Yeah.
Not employed as a
Huh?
free of attachment to body.
Free of attachment to body. Actually, they came from Zoroaster. They actually transmigrated from other country. So they are from quite many years back. So the new research is because nowadays the body is full of chemicals. When the vultures eat, they also disease affected, so they don't also come and do something. And how it gets transformed into ashes? Yeah, when it's burned. So in different ways, the body is treated differently in different regions. So that's what is mentioned. Krimi with bhasma. Krimi with bhasma samagyasit. So that is how it is left. One enviously kills others for protecting such a body does not know his own benefit. since he'll go to hell as a result. So envy makes one do things which are abominable for the sake of this body. Like we saw just previously, the whole episode of Chitraketu Maharaj, where the co-wives, they killed a just few days old baby. Generally, children, small children are very, they inspire love or, innocence. They are very innocent. But they became so envious because the king was not spending time with the other queens and they were not given attention. They killed the baby. So we may speak, but we get caught in the net of envy. So it is difficult to discriminate. Therefore, we should always be in the net of devotee association. In this world, because the air is filled with envy only. People in this, like even nowadays, advertisements also. Some of the advertisements they say, "Oh, if you get this car or if you get this thing, then it is like neighbor's envy.
Owner's pride.
Owner's pride, neighbor's envy. So you will be full of pride and it will inspire envy in heart of neighbor because he or she they will feel like मेरे पास नहीं है, इसके पास नहीं. So it will inspire envy. So that's the kind of advertisements which are done in this world. So therefore, the whole air is filled with this kind of sentiment of envy, and we may not directly be wanting to be in that, but we will get caught in that net. So therefore, it is important to be in the net of association of devotees.
How will association will help us to do this?
Vishwanath Thakur says, does one who commits violence to other beings for maintaining his body know his own benefit? So we may do violence to others, but for maintaining body, but he does he know his own benefit? क्या question आपने?
How association helps to create something?
How association helps to overcome envy? You tell me how your association is helping you, or it's not helping you.
It is helping association, but I want to know the reason, like how it works.
See, ultimately, if we have to at least rise to the Madhyama level. So it's a Kanishta society. So Kanishta society mein still we are working on this platform that we bring in the same mentality of material gain, the material things. Now same thing in spiritual. So we will say, Arey, he has so many disciples, he has less disciples, so he is better. He is chanting so many rounds, he is chanting less rounds, he is better. So all calculation is based on material only. The betterment, that is Kanishta mentality. So Madhyama mentality is that it's based on belonging, a sense of service, pleasing, love to the Lord. So that is seen as and that is being inspired. So if there is a Madhyama society, so then because that is the mood which is being aspired for, which is being always glorified or being always discussed, so then it will instill same kind of mood in us.
Like by seeing the others, like how the culture is based on that.
Seeing, it's more of, you get caught in that same, it permeates through one's words, one's demeanor, one's how one responds to various different difficulties in life. Everything matters. So it is the culture. So if that culture permeates, if that culture is there of non-envy, then that culture will permeate. one devotee was sharing some difficult, matlab, how we have to learn something from this, that even in many congregations, you can see certain congregations unnecessary there is competition, dispute, or there is what you call good budget. There is one group of, there is another group, and there is always kind of tug of war, or this, this you should do like this, or you should do like this. But more important is a congregation will flourish where Bhagavatam and discussion on Bhagavatam, or that is kept at the center. So those places where leaders are aware that if you don't engage people's mind, senses, energy in Krishna Katha on a constant basis, it will, because the nature of this world is it will go to that only otherwise. We were doing that outside, now we will do it in this community of devotees. I want like this, power, this and that. So that has to be this leader's important duty, that he kind of always create challenges or inspiration to study scriptures, because we have so much of mind, intelligence, which if not used in studying scriptures, discussing scriptures, will then go into all these other things. Then we have to create avenues, spaces where devotees discuss Shastra, devotees discuss the importance of devotional service on regular basis. So that will keep the society or that congregation in the right direction without envy. Otherwise, we again get caught, or we get dragged down by the lower modes. So that is the way it is.
One point comes in my mind.
Yes, Guru.
Non-devotee community or devotee community, everybody knows that envy is there. But in non-devotee community, we see others envious. But in devotee community, we see that I am envious.
Devotee community, I
can see by the Lord prays that I am actually envious.
Not that should be the case. That should be the case if we are properly situated. If we are actually performing our sadhana with a serious, without ulterior motive, if that is the case, then we will see that. But if we don't have that kind of motive, then in devotee community also we may see others as envious. We will not see ourselves as envious. Because the nature of this world, nature of mind is, as we see, here, Diti, we may say, she is very exalted, having Kashyap Muni as her husband. Kashyap Muni is directly one of the exalted personalities, and still she is getting affected by envy and things like that. So in our life also, we may get affected by envy, not realizing it's in my heart. We are seeing it in others. So therefore we need good Sangha who will help us, guide us, and we need good, sincere sadhana also to be able to be detached from envy. Okay, text number 26.
Nikita, Indra considers his body eternal, and thus he has become unrestrained. I therefore wish to have a son who can become Indra's madness. Let me adopt some means to help me in this.
So Prabhupada says, one who is in bodily conception of life is compared in the Shastras to animals like cows and asses. Diti wanted to punish Indra who had become like a lower animal. So she's thinking, oh, he is like an animal, so I should punish him. So bodily conception is very dangerous as it makes one mad one way or the other. Bodily conception makes one mad, he cannot understand, he or she cannot understand, and one becomes mad. So what is real welfare work? Is to elevate people's consciousness from the bodily conception to spiritual consciousness. So another important point is, in this world we are always suffering for one reason or another. If we don't seek positive or ultimate spiritual engagement, we will be caught up in taking revenge. So suffering comes in this world in some way or the other. Some upheaval or some reversal will always be affecting us. So if we don't seek positive engagement, invest our consciousness in positive spiritual activities, we'll get into revenge mood. And then when one gets into revenge mood, then very difficult. One will do anything and everything to cause disturbance to others. So revenge mood is once, so then people will justify, oh, whatever I am doing is justifiable because the mood is revenge. So here she is thinking of killing him. So revenge mood is like that. So we should be careful of this revenge mood. Next, 27, 28.
Thinking in this way with the desire for a son to kill him, Diti began constantly acting to satisfy Kashyapa by her pleasing behavior. O king, Diti always carried out Kashyapa's order very faithfully, as he desired. With service, love, humility, and control, words spoken very sweetly to satisfy her husband, and which, with smiles and glances at him, Diti attracted his mind and brought him under her control.
So how she is serving her husband Kashyap with all sincerity externally, with service, love, humility, control with words, very sweetly to satisfy her husband, and with smiles and glances at him. Prabhupada says in Parmat, when a woman wants to endear herself to her husband and make him very faithful, she must try to please him in all respects. When the husband is pleased with his wife, the wife can receive all necessities, ornaments, and full satisfaction. Herein, this is indicated by the behavior of Diti. So one important lesson here is, externally she is appearing to be serving very nicely. So service externally may appear same, but what distinguishes is the internal mood. So she is externally, if somebody will look, it appears she is serving so nicely her husband, like a very chaste wife, with the desire to serve and please her husband. But what is the internal mood? She has a great plan to get a boon and a son to kill Indra. Ultimately, who is Indra? Kashyapa Muni's son only. So then, by doing her service, whether she is pleasing Kashyapa Muni or she is displeasing, what is the consciousness? Is I want a son who will kill Indra, which will ultimately displease Kashyapa Muni. So then, service, we have to see what is the internal mood. We saw also Indra towards Vishwarup, like Vishwarup, he took help and guided and etc. the Narayan Kavacha. But then seeing one little error or little deviation, so-called deviation, Indra, he killed Vishwarup. So externally he was serving, but then internally he wasn't really in the mood of service or just to gain something for my satisfaction or to get me out of situation. So service should be with the intention to please the object of service. You should keep this in mind. Service is with the intention to please the object of service. Otherwise, it is just a business deal. If it is not done with the mood to serve properly, it's a business deal. So, in Krishna consciousness movement, we should be conscious to give Krishna, even if we take from others. So, we like many times we go and we ask people, "Oh, thoda funds de do, thoda ye kar do, wo kar do." But we should be conscious that in the process we have to give Krishna to them. Otherwise, it is just like a business deal. So, consciously, our mood is not, the primary focus should not be that I am getting some money or I am raising some funds or I am giving out some books, collections, things like that. Then it is, outside people also do like that. They also raise funds, they also for their project, for this and that. So one should be conscious that our objective ultimately is not to get money, to get this, to get that, is to share Krishna, give Krishna to others. So that should be very clear, that thought and that prayer should be very clear. So with that moment we should give. This Damodar was like sharing in one of our friend collection meetings that how we may do so many things, we may ask for Lakshmi, but then the mood should be that I am giving Krishna to them, an opportunity to engage in devotional service. With that mood, we should do. Otherwise, we are serving them by giving them an opportunity to serve. We are serving them by giving them an opportunity to serve for Krishna's service, pleasure, and things like that. So that should be the mood in which we should go ahead. Okay, text number 29.
Although Kasturmani was a learned scholar, he was captivated by this artificial behavior, which brought him under her control. Therefore, he assured his wife that he would fulfill her desires. Such a promise by a husband is not at all explanation.
So here is mentioned Kasturmani, he was a learned scholar, but he was captivated by Diti's artificial behavior, which brought him under her control. Therefore, he assured his wife he could fulfill her desires. अभी इससे पहले भी when we saw in third canto, what happened? Diti also served, and unnecessarily he got engaged and he was feeling repentant that why I did like this. But again he is getting effect. So our experiences in life will be helpful only if they are subservient to our devotional qualities. So he had a previous experience of being affected by her wife's, getting caught by her feminine nature, and then he had to do something which he did not want to do. But again he is getting caught again. So he had some previous experience, na? Still he is getting affected in a similar manner. So in life, just having an experience previously doesn't mean that it will create a change always, unless that previous impression or experience is subservient to our devotional qualities. So we have to Shravanam Kirtan, the devotional aspects, qualities have to actually inspire that change. Otherwise, it will not be sustainable in this world. Just what I said.
Subservient to devotional quality.
Matlab, we go through a certain challenge. So in this case, Kasturmani, we go through certain challenge. So I may say, oh, next time I have learned the lesson and I will not do it. But the lesson should be that let me perform devotional service nicely, which will help me to be focused on Krishna. Just the fact that I had bitter experience and now I will learn from it, not really.
Taking positive shelter.
Yeah, we have to. It should be. We should take positive shelter, and then that will actually. It should be subservient to devotional aspect. Not in its own right, it can help us. Like in this world, Prabhupada always gives this example that when mother is going through delivery, she says that so much painful, so much painful. I will not give birth again to a child. But then, once the child comes and how the child is so cute and so lovable, so again, mother is willing to go through the pain of getting a child. So in this world, it is like we may go through that experience, but then we get caught up again in this world attraction. Oh, he is having this, she's having that. Again forget what was the experience. Again go through the same misery, and then we lament again. I'll not do this again. But then again we forget because there is no devotional element in it. Devotional, so it has to be in that mood. And another aspect is for a sadhaka especially, we should be careful not to be caught by external show, but internal disposition. So here, Diti is showing externally to be very, very submissive, chaste, serving. So sadhaka also does that. Externally everything very nice. But we have to constantly monitor our internal disposition. Externally I am doing so many things. Because if I don't do, then my authority will tell me, किधर थे आज? क्या कर रहे थे? Why were you not there? Or this or that. So just to be on the good books or not to be punished. We may do certain things externally, but what is my internal disposition? That has to be checked. Just externally is good, but it's not sufficient. External is good, but it's not sufficient. If you want to really make a change or make that stride in devotional service, internal disposition is required. So sadhaka has to constantly monitor that. Text number 30.
After monitoring, find that it is the disposition is not. After monitoring, point one will find that I am doing externally so many things, but my internal disposition is not. Okay, then what to do?
At least you did some mananam and found out it's not good, na? That's a big achievement.
Again and again, finding them in same disposition, but trying like honestly, externally only, internally, what can I?
We can pray. What we can? We can pray to the Lord. Please help me. I am incapable. I am always falling short. Despite hearing, despite having such facilities, but still I am falling short. I am so fallen. So please, Lord, help me. Like, we should cry for Krishna. If we cannot cry for Krishna, then we should cry that I cannot cry for Krishna. If you cannot cry that I cannot cry, then you cry that I cannot cry, that I cannot cry for Krishna. So you keep on adding whatever level we will get, but we have to cry. If we cannot cry for Krishna, then we cry at our own miserable state of affairs. And then we can cry for that. So ours is a crying mood. So we have to cry. So tomorrow everyone should cry in group. Point is, it's about, so change will not happen automatically or suddenly or instantly. It's more about having sincere disposition to bring about that change. when the change will happen, how it will happen, that is unique for every individual. So there's no set formula that there's no interdisposition is not changing. But if one is sincere, then Lord will create certain path. All acharyas, if you look, they are showing to the example, but then there's always some unique way of how they could connect with Krishna, surrender to Krishna wholeheartedly. So in life, our lives also, it will be a very unique way. There is no set path, but at least that sincere heart is important. That is विलोकयेकान्तभूतानि भूतानि आदौ प्रजापति स्त्रियं चक्रे स्वदेयार्थं यया पुंसां मतिर्हिता.
In the beginning of creation, Lord Brahma, the father of the living entities of the universe, saw that all the living entities were unattached. To increase population, he then created women from the better half of the man's body. For woman's behavior carries away a man's mind.
तो ब्रह्मा जी ने देखा प्रजापति विलोक एकांत भूतानि, सब एकांत है, किसी को पड़ी ही नहीं है जगत में, एवरीवन इज डिटैच्ड, एकांत. तो उन्होंने बोला ऐसे तो चलेगी नहीं बात. इफ एकांत है, एवरीवन इज डिटैच्ड, then how will the whole population we grow? So Striyam Chakre Swadhyadham. So he created the woman from the better half of men. So the illusion acted upon Kashyap Muni, although he was very learned and advanced in spiritual knowledge. Very learned and advanced. Still, a man should not associate with women in solitary place, not even with his mother, sister, or daughter, for these are so strong that they lead astray even a person advanced in. It basically makes one more and more entangled in bodily conception of it. So what this sexual attraction or opposite sex attraction does is, person becomes more and more bodily conscious. The whole purpose of spiritual life or this human life is to become disentangled from this bodily conception. But this opposite gender attraction does the opposite. It is making one more and more in bodily conception. So therefore it's completely detrimental. Opposite. Opposite. We have to walk in this direction, become detached from this body, but it is making us more and more attached to this body. Huh? Therefore, the words ekanta bhutani, which are used here, indicate that to avoid sexual desires, one should avoid the company of women as far as possible. Sexual desire is so powerful that one is saturated with it, one is his mother, sister, or daughter. Yeah, that is the verse is mentioned. It's very heavy. How? Sexual is so powerful. One is saturated with it. If he stays saturated, means completely overwhelmed. We see the example of Karl Krishna Das. So Karl Krishna Das is with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord himself. But then he gets attracted by Bhattaris. And he leaves the company of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu himself has to drag him away. So that is the nature of the strong effect of this sexual impulse. It can even lead on away in the most, that's the best association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. So a natural tendency of water is to flow down. If you leave water anywhere, what will the water do? It will always look for a lower gradient to flow down. So if you leave Jiva, consciousness, somewhere without any effort, it will flow down. It will go towards negative ingredient, lower moods. So one should at no point think that I will not get affected. So Srila Prabhupada said one of the biggest problems with my devotees is they are not sufficiently afraid of Maya. You take Maya lightly, thinking, "Arey, Maya na, he can handle." But she will handle us. We will not be able to handle, but she will handle us nicely. She's already handling nicely. So, mind should always be filled with thoughts of Krishna, words of Srimad Bhagavatam, and service to Guru. Then only one can remain sane, otherwise, let him go. Text number 31. Yes, Prabhu. Question?
Yes.
We'll take later. 31.
O my dear one, the most powerful sage Kashyapa, being extremely pleased by the mild behavior of his wife Diti, smiled and spoke to her as follows.
Yeah, because I want to end at this. This is the end of this section. So he became so pleased and then smiled and spoke to her. So Maya exactly knows our weak point. So we should be careful to constantly be very conscious of our responsibility and service. So she knows our weak point and it will come in such a fashion that we will not even understand. So best is we should constantly be conscious of our responsibility and service. Radhesham Prabhu once said, we should see women first as snake, cobra, second mother, third as spirit soul. Heavy statement, but then initially cobra means death personification. Because if we are not purified, the problem is not there, but we are ourselves not. Second, we should see as mother. And third is spirit, soul, living entity. So in that mood. Okay, so we can go for prasad. Sorry. Okay.
Second session is
Yeah, 10:30.
should we ask now?
If you want to.
Yeah.